I made somebody 16 grand USD in 11 days. This video is going to be about how to collect overwhelming social proofs that people feel stupid saying no, selfish versus impact goals, and I want to talk about real status. Now, first, let's talk about this fucking result for a second. 16 grand USD in 11 days? That's like 30 grand New Zealand nearly. 30 grand New Zealand in 11 days. I just got off with a check-in call with my client who told me this result. And by the way, he only spent, get this, his ad spend was like 400. So he spent 400 bucks on, no, hang on. What am I fucking talking about? It's $20 a day, 11 days, 200. Hello? He spent $200 on an ad on Instagram that I set up for him, and he made 16 grand. What? How are people actually going to sit down and like do a normal job when arbitrages like this exist, when leverage like this exists? Like, that's just crazy. Like, that's such a huge return. It's so crazy. You know, when you learn that there are ways of doing this, it just makes a normal job like impossible. How could you sit down and work for like a month to make like $5,000 when there are arbitrages like this that exist where you can make 16,000 in 11 days just by having the right marketing set up, by having somebody fucking do some marketing for you? Like, that's crazy. With $200 in ad spend, like, oh, I was so happy when I heard that because all my true fans know when I was making my last video. Where's my last video? That's a video I haven't posted yet, but everyone knows, all my true fans know my last video, I was talking about how important it is to get really good results for people. This is what I'm talking about. Under promising, over delivering. I told this guy that he was going to make in 30 days between 7 and 10 grand. He made 16 grand in 11 days and it's still going with 200 bucks in ad spend, right? That's what it means to under promise and over deliver. That's what it means when I said that I can increase my price because my results justify it. My shit's still too cheap. You guys know I'm charging 3 grand New Zealand, so like 2 grand US, and my results are 16 grand in 11 days. My shit's too cheap. Like, bruh, my shit's too cheap. I'm underpricing myself even at 2K. Like, my results are just too good. So, now that I've gotten really good results, some of you guys might be in this position, you need to collect social proof, right? So people feel stupid saying no. So let me talk about this. So I just got off the client check-in, heard about the results. First thing is make sure to check in with your clients. So in the beginning, in that early stages, I was actually too scared to do check-in calls. Like I didn't want to talk to them after they signed up because I was worried that they were going to say like something negative. They were worried they're going to be unhappy with the results. Like, you know, I was worried about this, but every single time that I've done a client check-in call, I've heard nothing but good things. Nothing but good things every time I've done a client check-in call. Like that's crazy. So first of all, make sure to do client check-in calls because every business problem can be solved by talking to your customers, right? And this is also really important. Collect social proof at the point of greatest satisfaction. So a lot of people who, you know, do marketing or agency or info product stuff, they wait till the end of the month. So, but that's really silly. This is in 11 days. So I checked up with them in 11 days and really I wanted to do it within 7 days. So let me just give you some context. So in my niche, most people typically make like 5 grand a month, right? 5 grand a month. Now he's making 16 grand in 2 weeks. So my shit works. He's making about 5 grand a month. And then he's going to be closing deals within a couple of days. So that means I should do a client check-in call to collect social proof just after a couple of days, right? Most people are going into my system not really expecting much, right? As I said, I under promise. So their expectations are down here. Then when results come in and they realize like, holy shit, this is crushing it. That's that, you know, after a couple of days, they'll realize like, wow, I was expecting to get like 1 or 2 results per day. This guy's getting me 4 or 5 results and it's been like 4 days and it's been pretty consistent. Like their mind is like blown. They're so happy. That's the exact point that I want to collect social proof. That's when I want to do my client check-in call and I want to go straight into that social proof. Okay. So customer satisfaction is going to be like this. Okay. And the reason, so you want to do your client check-in calls right here. So for me in my business, this is like after like 5 to 7 days. 5 to 7 days is this period here. Okay. Now, the reason why you don't want to wait until the end of the month is because after a while, they get used to it. right? It becomes the new benchmark for them. It becomes the, oh, this is just my life now, is getting 5 new customers a day, right? This is just my life. And they get used to it, okay? And then, you know, the overwhelmingly positive feeling that they have here kind of fades away when they start realizing, okay, you know, I'm getting way more customers now, so I have to do more work, right? So it goes down a little bit. And I'm having to spend way more time talking to people, you know, I'm getting way more phone calls, you know, and people get used to the result and they get kind of sick of it. And so if you collect a client testimonial here, you know, by this point, they're used to it. Like, this is just their life now, and it's not going to be the same testimonial. Make sure to collect testimonials at the point of greatest satisfaction, which is probably going to be quite early on in the system that you're doing. It's even the same for like weight loss, or for no matter what you're selling, you know, the first time that people see a little bit of progress, hopefully within the first couple of days or first week or 2 weeks, the first time they see a little bit of progress and they get really happy, that's the point that you collect the testimonial, is early on at the point of greatest satisfaction. And also it comes in many forms. So when I am doing my ads and I'm doing my VSLs and I'm collecting social proof and I'm showing social proof, I'm not just showing people testimonials. I am showing results. So I'm doing like a case study, like this guy used to be here. He used to be making $5,000 a month. Now he's making $15,000 in 2 weeks. I do a client testimonial. So then I show the client like talking about this and repeating everything that I just said, so you can hear it from the person himself. And then I also show text messages that they've sent me like throughout the time, like, yeah, I just closed a deal, got 2 more in the pipeline, like whatever. And then you can also show like increased in follower counts. Like if you're running ads for people, you naturally kind of gain followers as well, and engagement goes up. So you can show that as well. So there are so many different types of social proof that you can show. Even before I worked with a client for a full month, I bet that there are like just text messages that are positive that people have sent you. You know, you don't even need to wait until the end of the month or anything like that. You have so much more social proof than you realize, okay? Check your text messages, check your emails. You must have people being like, yep, it's been 3 days. We've gotten some results coming in. It's going well so far. You know, that can be a screenshot of a social proof. That alone can be a screenshot. When you're just starting out, you don't need to wait till the end of the month and see what the results are and then ask for a client testimonial. That's the mistake that everybody makes. And then they say, why don't I have any social proof? You don't need to wait till the end of the month. And social proof does not just have to be a case study or a testimonial. Use text messages that they've sent you. Use emails that they've sent you, okay? And if you're like me and you're actually already getting really good results for people, you can use all of this stuff. And you want to show your customers all of this stuff. For so long, I've been getting really good results, but nobody knows about my good results. And I'm wondering why I can't close deals. You got to show people the good results. So just recently, I think I mentioned this in my other video as well, I added into my pitch deck, part of my pitch is I just go through the value equation, and then, you know, the first part is dream outcome. Then I talk about probability of success. So in my pitch, I just say, listen, I update this presentation regularly. Here are the last 5 clients I've worked with. These are just the last 5 people I've worked with. Let me show you the results, right? And then boom, 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 boom. All 5 of them are really, really positive, right? This guy is one of my most recent clients, $15,000 in 11 days. And I'm not cherry picking my best results. These are just the last 5 people I worked with. And then I show them text message that they've sent me. I show them the results. I show them the revenue. I show them the leads in the ads manager. I show them everything, which collects overwhelming social proofs that people feel stupid saying no. How do you say, no, I don't want to pay $2,000 USD to have a system that just generated $16,000 USD for somebody else who's just like you, right? You feel stupid saying no when I ask people for money now. So that is social proof. Now let me talk about selfish versus impact goals. How did I even get a system that works this well? How did I get my client delivery to work this well and get so many good results? Okay, this is where we talk about selfish versus impact goals. This is so critical. This is so critical. Okay, selfish goals is where most people live. This is most people's brain is, I want to make X. I want to make $10,000 a month, $100,000 a month, $20,000 a month, whatever. I want to drive a certain type of car. I want to live somewhere. And these are selfish goals. These are goals about you, about yourself, and you're not thinking about anybody else, which is fine, but it's not going to be ideal for your business, okay? Because if you're going into a sales call or a deal thinking like, I want to close this deal because I want to make $2,000, you're going into it with the wrong mindset, okay? Because then you're going to try and squeeze everything you can out the deal, and you're going to be thinking about yourself. But anyone who knows anything about sales knows that that's not a good way of selling, right? The way that you sell is by thinking about them, thinking about solving their problems. So instead of having selfish goals and going into calls with that mindset, instead you want to go in with impact goals. I want to help X amount of people, right? Instead of saying I want to make 100 grand a month, instead your goal should be I want to help whatever your price is, 25 people solve this problem. And if your price is 4 grand, that's 100 grand a month. So make your goal around helping people, around helping a quantity of people, and then you're going to go into deals with the right mindset. Okay, this is also what an input goal is. Input goal, impact goal. It's kind of the same thing, which is I want to have, instead of making your goals, I want to make 10 grand a month. Instead, work your way back. Okay, 10 grand a month, that's 5 deals. That means, 15 booked calls, that 15 showed calls. That must mean 25 booked calls, 25 booked calls. I'm getting calls for $50 a month. So that means I need to spend, 25 times 50 on ads. So my goal is not to make 10 grand a month. My goal is to 25 times 50 is what? 1250. Okay. So instead of saying I want to make 10 grand a month, make your goal an input goal, because 10 grand a month is an outcome. It's an outcome you can't control. Okay. It'll happen or it doesn't. Focus on what you can control. So in this example, if you're getting booked calls for $50, your show rate is whatever, 60, 70%, your close rate is like 20, 30%, then instead of saying, I want to make 10 grand a month, instead say, I'm going to spend $1,250 on ads. I want to spend $1,250 on ads. That is an input goal. And then when you're going into deals, thinking about impact, okay? When you're on a call with someone, you're not thinking, how do I make 2 grand out of this person? Thinking, how can I help this person? How can I solve their problems, okay? And this type of goal setting is more effective, more clear. Business becomes mutually beneficial, okay? This is really important. When you're solving their problems, you're making money. Business becomes mutually beneficial, and like capitalism is winning. This is the way it should be, okay? Guys, you can't just be scamming people out here. It's not cool. You can't do that, okay? You want it to be mutually beneficial, and this is long-term thinking, okay? Short-term things do not work. They don't pay off, okay? Think about helping people. Think about impact. The only type of people that I hear actually talking about this type of goals are, especially like this one here, the only time I hear these kind of words come out of people's mouth is out of the mouth of like super successful CEOs. Only people who have tons of money already, but are still working every day, those people are thinking in terms of impact. Their goal wasn't to make money. Their goal was to impact, right? If you listen to the Telegram CEO, his name is like Pavlo or something, and he was talking to Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson was like, don't you want a jet? Don't you want a yacht? And he was like, no, I don't care about that. I have $100 million in my bank account or in Bitcoin. I don't want to make decisions about what color the cushions are. I don't want to waste time trying to make my shit nice. I want to make decisions about how 1 billion people communicate. That's like a clip that went viral. He's thinking in terms of impact. He's thinking in terms of input, and the money is just a byproduct of that. So you need to think to your customers, how can I just help these people as much as possible? How can I actually solve their problems? And when you're doing this, this is how you create upsells, downsells, cross-sells. This is how you actually serve your customers, right? An upsell is like, okay, if this person has 10 times more money, how can I help them solve their problem even more than my normal thing, right? And if they've got 10 times the money, if they can pay 10 times the money, I can like hella solve that problem. My normal thing like kind of solves the problem, or hopefully it does solve the problem. An upsell is like, if this person I'm talking to could spend 10 times the money, how can I solve this problem for them even better, even faster, even more longer term? That is what an upsell is. A downsell is the same thing. If this person can't afford my normal thing, how can I still help this person for cheaper? That's a downsell. Cross-sell, If somebody coming into the gym, they're buying a gym membership, okay, their goal is to lose weight, gain muscle, look better. How else can I help this person? What other things this person needs? He's probably going to need earbuds, listen to music. He's probably going to need straps. Not that I use straps. Just get stronger. He's probably going to need a belt. I don't use belts. Just get stronger. These are cross sells. These are other things that you can sell them to make more money and to help them. Okay, because remember, it's not about making more money. I shouldn't have said that. It's about helping them. How can you help them, right? In Gym Launch, they made money with the gym membership, and then two or 3 days later, they sold people on supplements, because supplements are another thing that help them get to their goals. It's an input goal. In order to get big, it's not just about exercising. You're going to need more protein, so you need to buy whey. So you can sell them more things. It becomes a cross-sell, okay? And this is how you actually serve your customers, okay? And this is what I was talking about up here when every business problem can be solved by talking to your customers, okay? because earlier on in my business journey, I was, my service was simpler. It was kind of smaller. I would do less for people because I didn't know at the time. And so customers, I still got good results, but like they had issues. They were like, yeah, you're getting lots of leads, but people aren't showing up. People aren't closing deals. And I was like, damn, okay. Well, I want to help you as much as I can. So how can I solve that problem? How can I make people show up more? How can I help you close these deals more? So I started adding sales training. I started adding more stuff to my thing so I could help people more, right? I increased my price because of this, and I could upsell them and downsell them. And this is also where my recurring revenue thing comes from. I have a back-end offer, like a monthly recurring thing. My monthly recurring revenue thing is a thing that I created to help solve those other problems that happen once they start using my main thing, right? It is kind of like, I don't know if it's an upsell, downsell, cross-sell. I don't know what it is. It's a monthly recurring thing that they pay in order to solve the next problems that they have, which helps me actually serve my customers, which is obviously fucking working because they're making 16 grand in 11 days. And I'm thinking in terms of impact, and this is how I created this upsell. What do people struggle with coming up with upsells, downsells, cross-sells? Just think, what's the next thing your customer needs? How could you help this person if they could spend 10 times more money or 10 times less money? Or what else do they need on top of your thing, okay? And this kind of then comes into my understanding of what real status is, okay? Real status, it's got nothing to do with a price tag. That shouldn't be a shocker to people. It's got nothing to do with a price tag. If something's got a price tag, you're not buying status, okay? Real status is about how many people look to you for help, okay? Think back to hunter-gatherer tribes, right? Real status was about how many people relied on you to live. You had to go out there and kill the albatross or the woolly mammoth or whatever and feed these people. The amount of people relying on you is status. A lot of people talk about being low status or high status. Guys, it's really simple to actually quantify the exact amount of status that you have. Is ask yourself, count on your hands and fingers and toes and how many you need. Ask yourself, how many people look to you for help? How many people rely on you showing up and you performing? That is the number of how much status you have. That is how you quantify it, okay? It's got nothing to do with the price tag, and it's got nothing to do with spending money, because all that stuff is selfish, right? Being, I want to make X, I want to drive X, I want to live in X. Those are selfish goals. That's not status. That's not status. And people know that shit. People can feel it. Or when you see a dude walking around like head to toe in Gucci and Louis Vuitton, you don't think, wow, that guy's cool. In my mind, to be honest, I kind of think that guy's kind of a loser, to be honest. Like, what the fuck? It doesn't give you status in any way. Status is how many people you help, how many people rely on you, right? And then real status is also about eating last, not first. So when your tribe relies on you and you'd go out and kill the woolly mammoth, bring that food back, oftentimes the guy who killed that mammoth wasn't the guy who ate first, right? He would eat last, okay? Think about in your family. I think lots of dads are like this. My dad's like this, but I think most people's dad are like this, right? They never spend any money on themselves. Never, ever. They just never buy anything for themselves, right? Or what most dads would do. My dad is like this. He bought one nice thing for himself once, 20 years ago. It might be a watch, car, house, whatever. For my dad, it was a watch. And since then, he has never spent a single cent on himself. Everything just goes to the wife, the kids, the family, right? That's real status, right? Is eating last, not first. Helping first, okay? Real status is about how many people look to you for help. Nothing with a price tag is real. And this is how you can get there, right? If you want to unlock real status, if you feel like you're a low status person, help people. Help your tribe. And you can define what your tribe is. You can define what it is. It can be your family, but it can also just be, people that you kind of just relate to. I'm making these YouTube videos to help people who want to, start a business, start an agency or online info coaching business. I want to add my voice to the choir of of all the other people helping, because I have an impact goal, right? This YouTube channel is not about being selfish, about making a certain amount of money. How much money do you think I'm making from this, right? It's not hard to work out. It's not about what I want. It's about helping people. It's just about helping people.